Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in the garage as I once again am getting ready to work on the car. So I picked some stuff up, specifically this set of security bits, and I'm hoping that I can use them to take off some more of the pieces, especially the steering wheel and hopefully the airbag thing. Although, just quickly checking the set, none of them are actually big enough to take off the airbag piece, which is really unfortunate. I'll show you that in a second. It is very hot today, so I don't know how long I'm actually going to be outside for. Last week it was super nice and I felt like I could just be out all day, and that's why I was getting a lot of stuff done. But this week, man, it's hot, so I'm going to try to keep it inside in the shade. I mean, yeah, that's all I can do. I still have a lot of stuff to get rid of, but last week was incredibly successful in terms of selling things. I'm very, very happy about it. I was also able to sell the marker lights from the bumper. You can see they are missing. These lights right here are gone from the bumper. Those are the ones I'm talking about. They're gone. One guy came and picked them up, which is great. But yeah, some really big stuff that I still want to get rid of. Mainly the hood is still sitting on the top of the car, as you can see. That needs to go. Basically all the big stuff up on the shelf needs to go. I'm essentially just giving away these interior pieces to anybody who wants them, because I don't know what else I'm gonna do. Like, they're gonna end up in the dump, so I gotta sell them somehow. But yeah, today let's take off the dashboard and we'll see what's underneath. And yeah, maybe get out the entire dash harness, maybe the heater. I don't know, lots of possibilities with this. This is gonna be a lot of fun, I think. And it shouldn't be too dirty either, like it is when I'm working in the engine bay. So this is what I'm talking about when I say that I can't get the security bits off for it. I mean, I have the right Torx, but I don't have one with a hole in it. And if we check out my set, unfortunately not even the largest one, which appears to be this one right here, is big enough to get that piece off. So yeah, a bit of a disaster in that way, but I'm still lucking out a little bit because I bought this also to get the steering wheel off, and there's a tiny security Torx in there, and I definitely should be able to get that one. Yeah, at least that's coming off today. Goodness, this is going to be interesting, as I have never really delved deep into a dashboard before, but it should be fun. So this is what a steering wheel looks like from a G35, and this is what it looks like without. Obviously those are airbag connections, but yeah, that was actually extremely easy to take off, and well, next is the rest of it. But I kind of disassembled it a little bit too far. I took out the airbag and the airbag holder, but I kept all the hardware here, so I'm just going to put it back together and then try to sell it, I guess. But if it doesn't sell, then I'm going to use it for my go-kart, because it's pretty awesome. Without an airbag, this thing looks dangerous. I like. So this is what an Infiniti G35 Coupe cluster looks like when it's taken out of the car. This one's got 265,000 kilometers on it, which is a lot. But on the back, yeah, you get to see where all of the bulbs are, and they're easier to change this way, I assume, without having to undo those pretty ridiculously difficult clips. But other than that, I mean, it's relatively simple. And I also managed to get out this piece here. That's the stalks, which is kind of interesting, and there's the plastic surround. I hurt my hand kind of badly taking that out, so be careful if you're following along with this. But yeah, don't worry about me. So this is what the dashboard looks like now. Slowly but surely dismantling and disfiguring. It's looking more and more grotesque, but I will be taking out a bunch of these wires soon, hopefully, so yeah, more to come. Goodness, it's still so hot. It's only the morning. Oh man. Okay, so my next idea here is to take off some of the screws. I gotta take that ground off, and then sort of just trace around and try and get the rest of this. And yeah, I think the dash pad might be getting close to being able to be removed. Just a couple more screws probably, and then a lot of clips, I would assume. So after a bit of a lunch break, the dashboard is actually out, or out-ish. It's free, I should say. It's just, as you can likely tell, being held on by some clips and such, but we're getting a peek at what the inside looks like. This is where things get interesting. I'm very curious to see how the HVAC ducting is and all this kind of stuff. And I think what makes it even more interesting is, in order to get out that side, I had to undo the airbag. So maybe this will be going with the airbag. I'm going to try to get rid of these pieces by selling them, but we'll see. And then maybe soon we'll be able to get the heater core out, and then once that's out, hopefully we can get the AC out, and then once the AC's out, then we can finally start working on getting the engine itself out by cutting off the exhaust and such. But man, genuine progress. I was not sure if anything would actually get done today, but here we are. Have you ever wanted to see the guts of an Infiniti G35 dashboard? Because that is exactly what you're seeing at the moment. That thing over there is the airbag, although it's precariously placed. I basically just leaned it up against that because it's hanging off of some wires. But other than that, yeah, it's a bit of a disaster, isn't it? But this is all hidden by the plastic. See, we've got vents here. These are the defog vents. And then these vents here are the actual, like, regular vents. Gigantic dash bar, obviously. Nice rust on it. Beautiful. Over on this side again, big center stack. That's where the HVAC is. Hey, got that rhyming going. What's this? Is this the dashboard from an Infiniti G35? Yeah. It's just hanging out. Not actually that hard to get off if you get all the screws out and you have everything else removed, I guess. It's not too bad. It's actually rather heavy, but looking on the back side, just a lot of clips, a big metal piece for the airbag, and yeah, that's actually a GPS piece right there. Alright, I am absolutely tearing this thing apart. I got lost there for a bit, not really sure where to start because there's just so much going on. As soon as I opened this bad boy up, I immediately had like 20 things I needed to do, but the gist of what's going on so far is I'm trying to remove the dash harness, which is more difficult than it would seem, and also there is, well, fuse box down there. These things are currently stuck. I'm going to have to remove the big bar before I get that off, but I'm trying to get most of the wiring off before I get the bar off. And then once the bar's off, I can hopefully get everything else. But you can see it's much thicker by the driver, and then it thins out as it goes towards the passenger side, which I thought was interesting. Obviously, this side takes the brunt of the steering wheel, so that's there's something to consider. The steering wheel itself is actually, well, the shaft, I mean, is completely unhooked. The key, even though it looks like there's a bunch of wires on it, it's actually basically alone now, just its own connections to deal with down low. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to get this off. I guess there's a thing down there, but to remove it from the actual steering shaft, I'm not sure how to do that yet. Basically, I'm just winging it here. Like, I'm figuring things out as I go. I had to look up how to take the steering wheel off because I didn't want to break it, but it was literally just beat it until it comes off. So I mean, sometimes you just gotta smack things around a little bit. That whole wiring harness over there is actually free, except for the fact that it's connected to this main one, and I would assume that all of this is going to come out together. So, geez, lots to do still. Such progress, though. Oh yeah, somebody is apparently coming today for the rad. I'll let you know how that goes, but that'll be another 70 bucks in the project car budget, which would be great, and another piece out of the garage, which is great because I still have far too much. Alright, back to work. I've been working hard out here trying to get this stuff done, and as you can see, it has been at least moderately successful because the entire dash bar is out of the car. A little bit of surface rust on there, a lot of metal, a lot of brackets. Not sure if I'm going to sell this or if I'm going to keep it for parts, just for my own personal use, but yeah. A few things to take off of that. Oh yeah, I have basically a graveyard outside at the moment. This is just temporary though, to make space for when I'm working in the garage, but let me show you some other things that have happened. That is all of the, well, engine wiring that's inside of the car. You can see the ECU plug is down there, and it's taken out of this big hole here up into this. And then from the other side, perspective essentially is wiring from here. That is the heater core. We have more heating stuff over there, and then a giant mess of wiring on that side. Looking closer at the mess, the steering shaft is in there, as well as the parking brake and pretty much every other pedal, which is interesting. Yeah, kind of cool stuff actually. It's cool to see, but I'll be taking all of it off, and selling it, I guess. Hopefully somebody will need it. But next comes basically disassembling literally everything here. I want to strip this bare except for the shifter. We're going to leave that in place so that this car can be shifted, because right now it's in park, and if I need to move it somewhere, that is not going to be possible when it's in park. So yeah, goodness. Okay, I'm a little out of breath because I've been moving some stuff around. It randomly started raining, and I don't want stuff like that exhaust pipe to get wet, so now it's hanging out down there. But yeah, the the interior is very thoroughly pulled apart at this point. All of the wiring for the dash is now here, and as you can see, there is another big entrance into the engine bay that I'm going to have to figure out what goes through there and what's going to stay, and then what's going to go into the box of wires. But I'm pretty darn close to getting the heater out. I really didn't think I'd get this far today, but man, I'm making progress again. I figure I'm going to be out here for another half hour or so, and then I gotta go inside and get some work done inside, but oh, that's going to feel nice. Finally out of the humidity. Thank goodness for this rain, though. Sometimes the rain takes the humidity away, but yeah, lots and lots of wires to spare, goodness. If anybody's looking for a dash harness for an Infiniti G35, you know who to call. I'm just kidding, but not really. And that's a wrap for today. I got the blower off, so I was wrong about what the heater core is. The actual heater core is this gigantic black box. It's currently loose, but it's attached via the, well, connections through the firewall from the engine and such. So I gotta be careful about doing that because it could probably leak a bunch of coolant everywhere. I'm gonna try and open them on the other side, so I'll take off the hoses on this side when I eventually get to that. The AC lines are in the way. It's kind of finicky down in there, and frankly, I don't really want to do it today, but that's okay because it's raining. And it's probably a good time for me to clean up. Man. Well, I'm usually a pretty clean person, so that doesn't take too long, but if we check out the list, I was able to cross off dashboard, the airbag / steering wheel, and that's it. But that's okay. This stuff takes time, and trust me, it has been quite a bit of time. And with that, I'll see you guys again next time. Be sure to comment on this video, let me know what you think. Oh yeah, the ECU looks like this. Automatic G35 ECU. I don't think that's particularly valuable. I'm glad to have it in my stash of parts, and I almost tripped and died on this incredibly sharp piece of metal. That thing would hurt a lot to fall on, so I'm going to try and find a better place for it. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.